Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video tonight I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United like I do on a regular basis. So there's lots of topics to delve into, so I am going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Jadon Sancho, because I have been keeping you up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho on a regular basis. Also going to be giving you some more news on João Felix from Atletico Madrid. So I am going to reiterate some of the stuff I mentioned on one of my videos I did recently, regarding João Felix. And also going to be talking with you about Dean Henderson and David De Gea, who do you think, should be Manchester United's #1 goalkeeper next season? So yeah, we'll delve into that topic though a bit later on in the video. So obviously, as I've gone through with you today, I've obviously, done 2 videos today, haven't I? Obviously, I confirmed with you guys this morning, didn't I, about the Saudi Arabians, taking over Newcastle. Well, they are supposed to be taking over Newcastle, and the Saudi Arabians have paid around £300 million to buy Newcastle, and they are led by Amanda Staveley, the Saudi Arabian group. And I think, they are worth around 260 billion. So now it has confirmed Newcastle have got the richest owners in the Premier League. An agreement was take that there was agreement that took place on Monday, I think, and Mike Ashley, who's been their current owner for around 13 years, has agreed to sell Newcastle for around £300 million. And obviously, the Saudi Arabians are already making plans already. Newcastle want to get some Galactico signings in. They also want to, get rid of Steve Bruce and look into, getting Mauricio Pochettino to replace Steve Bruce. There's also been Massimiliano Allegri on their agenda. So that I mentioned that to you guys on my first video that I did this morning. So obviously now reflecting on Newcastle's links to Mauricio Pochettino, it's very, very unlikely that Pochettino will be Manchester United's next manager, despite the fact that he has been relentlessly linked with the football club throughout the course of this season, Mauricio Pochettino. But, it's not going to happen now. But I think we're going to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at least another season anyway, so doesn't really make a difference. I obviously, today as well give you the news on Diego Dalot, because obviously, he's fighting for his future at the football club. So he could be, one of the players, that's leaving Manchester United when the transfer market reopens, because his appearances have been limited. Dalot's. He's a backup, to Anwan Bissaka. He's sustained a couple of injuries this season. We paid £19 million for Dalot from Porto back in the summer of 2018. So I think he was, we got him in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. I think it was his final signing, if I'm right. So maybe Diego Dalot doesn't have a long-term future at Man United. I think we're open to telling him, we're looking at getting the £30-odd million range for him. He's got a contract with the club until 2023 as Diego Dalot. So let's just confirm that. And obviously, my previous video that I did earlier on, obviously, UEFA have confirmed that Manchester United and Arsenal could get qualification for the Champions League for next season if the season is void. So obviously you know about that. So yeah, so let's delve into the topics now on this video. So the news is regarding Jadon Sancho, that according to the German media, they've come out and said that Manchester United have not secured an agreement for Jadon Sancho. Now, obviously, this is totally contrast, to what was coming out recently, because it came out, this was stemming from The Sun, and I know The Sun isn't a reliable source, but they actually, said that Manchester United have agreed almost every detail, to get Jadon Sancho. It said we'd agreed the terms with the player, the personal terms, and it also said, the length of Jadon Sancho's contract had been agreed. His salary, his bonuses, and his huge buyout clause have also been agreed. He said the only thing that hasn't been agreed is the fee. So I did say Manchester United need to come to an agreement with Borussia Dortmund on a fee. But now, according to the Express, and this is stemming from the German media, we have not now reached an agreement to get Jadon Sancho. Now, we do know how much Jadon Sancho is going to cost Manchester United. It's already been revealed, and Borussia Dortmund have made it clear, and even, with this coronavirus crisis, Borussia Dortmund still remain ruthless over their valuation. They still want at least £100 million for Jadon Sancho. They still want at least £100 million, or, we could end up paying £120 million. But either figure, if he was to come to the Premier League, would make him a record signing in the Premier League, and it would make him our most expensive signing and most expensive player in British history. But I think Jadon Sancho has already revealed, that his preference is a move to Manchester United. And obviously, I pinpointed a couple of things out, why it would be beneficial to for Man United to recommend him in, is because obviously, Jadon Sancho is well Premier League proven. Obviously, before he was at Borussia Dortmund, he endured 2 years with Manchester City. So he's played in Manchester before as well. Obviously, he didn't get assured any first team opportunities at Man City. That's why he left Manchester City to join Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, before he was at City, he was at Watford. He was at Watford for several years. So he actually began his professional career in London, did Jadon Sancho. And obviously, it recently got revealed that he is a lifelong Chelsea fan. And another beneficial thing about recommending him in is that, he's got a really, really good friendship with Marcus Rashford. And don't forget, Rashford the other week revealed, that he wants Jadon Sancho at Manchester United next season. Because I'm not going to fully assure, that we're going to get Jadon Sancho, because like I said, Man United and a lot of other clubs across the world, and they're going to reduce their summer transfer budget. And, like I mentioned, a lot of teams are under financial pressure. But I'm not going to fully disregard us, getting him, because I still think there's a chance, that Manchester United could get Jadon Sancho on the board. But I think Sancho will go well alongside, Greenwood, Rashford and Anthony Martial in our attacking line. I think it'll be the club's best, one of the club's best attacking trios if we can get Jadon Sancho in when the transfer market does reopen. Like I've said to Rashford, he was one of our best players earlier on in the season, was Marcus Rashford. He was one of our best players without a shadow of a doubt, and he's still one of our best players now. Obviously, up until this point, Rashford has spent the entirety of his career with a football club. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. As you know, Marcus Rashford, and I think he's got 19 goals in 30 odd games this season in all competitions. But he has been a miss, Rashford, because he has been out with a back injury since January. The positive is when the football season does eventually resume, Rashford will be back in full training. I give you the news on Rashford yesterday. He is training at home. He said he's finding it hard to train at home whilst on the coronavirus lockdown. He's finding it hard. But he said obviously, he prefers, to train at the training ground. But Rashford, does want to regain full fitness. He does want to regain full fitness. Maybe, Rashford will get his role changed. Rashford can play as a number 9, he can play out wide. But I think Solskjaer prefers him out wide. Definitely in that. Martial, obviously, I've spoken with you about him the other day. He's another good attacking player. We've got Anthony Martial. Like I said, Anthony Martial's endured some difficult times as a Manchester United player, especially under the Jose Mourinho era and stuff like that. And he has been subjected to transfer speculation in the past, Anthony Martial. But obviously, before the football season that got suspended, he had rejuvenated himself, Anthony Martial, to be fair. So I've got to give him a lot of credit, because I think Martial's got 16 or 17 goals this season for Man United. He is still only at the age of 24. We need to find Martial a permanent position. We have played him in the number 9 role this season, so we've played him centrally. But he does predominantly, play out wide on the left, does Anthony Martial. Now, I think, he is the foreseeable future for Man United. I don't think he'll spend the entirety of his career with Man United from now. Obviously, like I updated you the other day, he said Inter Milan have expressed their interest, but it's unlikely we'll let him go to Inter Milan when the transfer market does reopen. Martial now is into his 5th season at the club. I think one of the best seasons he enjoyed was in his first season under the Louis van Gaal era, because we paid around 36 million for Martial, potentially rising up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements in that. And like I said, I've been very, very impressed with Mason Greenwood. I expect Mason Greenwood to get more opportunities going on into next season, because he seldom started in the Premier League this season. He tends to start more in the cup games, doesn't he, Mason Greenwood? But I think Mason Greenwood's got 12 goals in all competitions this season. But yeah, but I think Jadon Sancho, back to what I said, he'd go well alongside them players. You know, he really, really would. Obviously, you know, it came out last week, was it, if I'm right? Or it might have been early on this week, that Borussia Dortmund were willing to offer Jadon Sancho a new contract worth around £165,000 a week, which I think equates to around £4 million per year. They was willing to offer him this new contract if he was to turn down a move to the Premier League. So Borussia Dortmund were willing to give him a pay rise. I think Jadon Sancho's got around 2 years remaining on his contract with Dortmund. He is under contract with them until 2022, Jadon Sancho. So he's got like 2 years remaining on his contract. Don't forget, reports have been coming out, is it today or yesterday? And they said back in 2017, you know, we came close to signing Jadon Sancho. This was obviously, you know, before he went to Borussia Dortmund. But we didn't get him because, like I mentioned, you know, he went to Borussia Dortmund. It also revealed last year that, you know, Borussia Dortmund inquired about getting Mason Greenwood as part of a swap deal of selling Jadon Sancho, but we've got no intentions of letting Mason Greenwood go, you know, as part of any swap deal or anything like that. So that also got confirmed. And maybe, you know, it depends on whether we can get Champions League football. You know, that could be dependent on, you know, whether we can get Jadon Sancho or not, because reports came out the other week saying that Jadon Sancho will reject a move to Manchester United if the club, you know, do fail to qualify for the Champions League and stuff like that. But, you know, he's been a revelation in Germany, Jadon Sancho. Dortmund, you know, will make a huge profit on the player because he only paid £7 or £8 million in from Man City. So they'll make a huge profit on the player. And Borussia Dortmund have come to accept the fact now that he does want to leave. He made this admission back in February that he wanted to leave Borussia Dortmund because it was stemming from Sky in Germany. So Dortmund have had like Ferran Torres on their agenda to replace him. They've also had Jude Bellingham on their agenda to replace Jadon Sancho. You know, don't forget, was it last summer Borussia Dortmund lost Christian Pulisic? Well, he went out on loan back to Dortmund, did Pulisic, but then obviously, you know, went to Chelsea last summer. I think they have recruited a couple of players in recent years of Dortmund, but there you go. But he's only the age of 20 as well, and he's predominantly a right winger, and Manchester United are in search for a right winger. But Borussia Dortmund do remain ruthless over their valuation. We have been in contact with Jadon Sancho's agent for a couple of months. Also, too, we've been working on his contract, you know, for quite some time. I think, you know, it did say we're willing to offer Jadon Sancho around, is it £200,000 a week or something like that. So that means he'd be getting, you know, the exact same wages as Rashford. One report said before we was willing to offer him 400 grand a week. You know, that's double than what Rashford's on. And more than likely, you know, we'll offer him the iconic number 7 because, you know, we have got number 7 vacant. And I think Jadon Sancho would operate very, very well in the number 7 role, to be quite honest with you. He really, really would operate in that number 7 role really, really well. Like I said, Liverpool were in for him. Liverpool no longer in for him now, though. Chelsea were in for him. Chelsea not in for him now. I think, you know, Chelsea have come to accept the fact that they're not going to get him. Chelsea are looking to get Felix Coutinho on the board. They've been in for Felix Coutinho for quite some time of Chelsea. I think, you know, Barcelona are looking to offload him permanently. I think, you know, Chelsea will probably have to pay in the 80 odd or 90 odd million pound range to get Felix Coutinho. You know, there's no way that Barcelona are going to recoup all of the £142 million that they did pay for him from Liverpool back in January 2018. But, you know, Coutinho, very consistent at Barcelona, very inconsistent. You know, I don't know how he's done at Bayern Munich. I haven't really watched him, but I know he's on loan at Bayern Munich. Coutinho, you know, enjoyed a good 5 years with Liverpool. You know, did really, really well at Liverpool, did Felix Coutinho, to be fair. You know, did really, really well, and you know, Liverpool paid what was it? You know, just over 8 million for him from Inter Milan. So Liverpool made a huge profit on the player. You know, when they did sell him, because he began his career with Inter Milan, his senior career. I think he also had a loan spell at Espanyol, where he played under Mauricio Pochettino's guidance. You know, Felix Coutinho. But Felix Coutinho is actually, you know, the third most expensive player in the world. But he can play as an attacking mid, he can play as a winner. I think, you know, he can also play as a secondary striker in that. So Chelsea are looking to get Felix Coutinho on the board. Chelsea have already, you know, got one player in for when the transfer window reopens, and that's Hakim Ziyech from Ajax, don't forget. But yeah, Chelsea, do want to make quite a few signings when the transfer market does reopen. So yeah, so that's the latest news on Jadon Sancho. Now let's delve into the news on Joe Felix from Atletico Madrid. So I give you the news, didn't I, regarding Joe Felix recently, because this was stemming from League 10 Sport. They said, that Manchester United have expressed an interest in Joe Felix, and it reportedly says that we've had internal negotiations with his super agent, George Mendes, and all that. Obviously, I think we've scouted him numerous times before, when he was at Benfica, because, revert back to last summer, we was heavily linked with Joe Felix. But it's very, very unlikely that Manchester United are going to put a bid in for Joe Felix now. The main explanation for that is because, there's like four, players that are more of a priority than Joe Felix. So that's the main explanation why. And basically, we have been seeing Joe Felix as an alternative to Jadon Sancho. So if we miss out on Sancho, then we'll possibly, look to get, Joe Felix on the board. Now, I do rate Joe Felix a lot, to be quite honest with you. I think he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time in Spain, with Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid wouldn't be willing to do any business, I don't think, with a player anyway, because this is only his first season with Atletico Madrid, don't forget. Obviously, Atletico Madrid, paid £113 million for him last summer from Benfica, so he's the fourth most expensive player in the world. And Joe Felix had signed around a 7-year contract, was it? So he's under contract with Atletico Madrid until 2026. But Joe Felix there again, has been injured, this season quite a few times for Atletico Madrid. But overall, anyway, Atletico Madrid have had a lot of injuries throughout the course of this season. But I've got to, give Joe Felix a lot of credit, because I thought when he was at Benfica, he was a very, very good player. He was at Benfica for several years, but he was only in their senior squad for 1 year. And, he won the title in his first season, with them. Also, won, Best Young Player of the Year, reflecting on his good performances. And Joe Felix's versatility is very, very good. He can play as an attacking mid, which I think is predominantly an attacking mid. He can play as a winner, he can play as a striker, and he can also play as a secondary striker, can Joe Felix. And, like I said, if we was to have any chances of getting, Joe Felix, maybe Bruno Fernandes could play a part in that, because obviously, Bruno Fernandes is Portuguese, and, Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career and all of that, and definitely, Bruno Fernandes has made a difference in the team, and we've recruited, quite a few Portuguese players in over the years, and, they have done really, really well for us. Ronaldo enjoyed 6 good years at Man United. Don't forget we had Nani. He was also Portuguese. But I'm very, very sceptical, that we will get Joe Felix on the board, because Atletico Madrid, don't forget, lost Griezmann last summer. They also didn't lose Diego Godin as well, and they lost a few other players. But they did recruit some players, and they got, like I said, Felix in, Thomas Lemar from Monaco. I think they paid around 50 million for him. I think they got Kieran Trippier in. Didn't they get Diego Costa in as well, if I'm right, or was that the summer before, and Alvaro Morata? But so I can't see Manchester United getting Joe Felix on the board. But I'd definitely take him, if the opportunity was there. You could get him for a cut price deal as well. I think, you could maybe get him for maybe in the 60. You could get him for maybe in the £60 million range, or maybe in the £70 million range. But yeah, we won't get Joe Felix. So that's the latest news on that. And also, too, now let's delve into the topic on Dean Henderson and David De Gea. Now, this is a debate. Now, who do you think should be Manchester United's #1 goalkeeper next season? Should it be, Dean Henderson, or should David De Gea continue being our #1 goalkeeper? Now, my verdict on Dean Henderson is that, he's done very, very well on his loan spell with Sheffield United. He's been on loan at Sheffield United now for like 2 seasons. And yeah, he has been a revelation without a shadow of a doubt. And also too, Dean Henderson's also been on loan at quite a few other clubs. He had a loan spell in League One with Shrewsbury. I think he also had a loan spell, if I'm right, with Stockport and Grimsby did the goalkeeper. Now, I think Dean Henderson is tipped to be selected, for the Premier League Team of the Year, reflecting on his good run of performances. Now, Dean Henderson is expected to come back to Manchester United after his loan spell with Sheffield United, but if he isn't, to become our number one goalkeeper, then, maybe Dean Henderson won't want to come back, or we'll probably, get rid of him on a permanent transfer. But, yeah, so some United fans will say keep De Gea as number one, or, put Dean Henderson as our number one goalkeeper. I think Dean Henderson has got a contract with Man United until 2022, so he's still got around 2 years remaining on his contract and that. Alex Tuanzebe has given his verdict on Dean Henderson, and he believes with our reputation of promoting the youth, he thinks Dean Henderson is capable of being our number one goalkeeper, because I do like David De Gea a lot, and he's been a long-serving goalkeeper at Manchester United as David De Gea, and he has been our number one for several years. David De Gea now is into his 9th season at Manchester United, and he has enjoyed 8 years here. But my element of concern now is David De Gea has become a liability, and I've got to say he has been a liability at least for the last year and a half, maybe 2 years or so, reflecting on his calamitous mistakes he has made, David De Gea. But I've got to say, he's had probably a good 6.5 years out of the 8 years he has been here. David De Gea has won everything here domestically. He's won the club's Player of the Year 4 times out of the past 6 years. Is it reflecting on his good run of performances? I think he's kept over 100 clean sheets for Man United. He's also made nearly 400 appearances, or is it 400 appearances he has made for the club in all competitions. Now, I think probably David De Gea will be here next season. I don't think Man United will get rid of him. I don't think we'll get rid of him when the transfer market does reopen. I'm very, very sceptical that, he'll spend the entirety of his career from now on with the club. If David De Gea, does leave in, the foreseeable future, I can see him probably, making a return back to Spain, because obviously, like I mentioned before, David De Gea began his career in Spain with Atletico Madrid. Obviously, revert back to 2015, which was 5 years ago. Real Madrid came very, very close to getting David De Gea, but obviously, due to a fax machine on deadline day, the deal never materialised. PSG and Juventus have also been in for David De Gea in the past. We paid £17 million for David De Gea from Atletico Madrid. That's how much Manchester United paid, yeah. So, yeah, he has been here since the Alex Ferguson era as David De Gea. And I think he's 28 or 29 years of age, so he's in his late 20s. He's obviously, the highest paid at the club and the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, because he's on $375,000 a week, because last September, he signed a new long-term contract with the football club, did David De Gea. But yeah, I can see him being at Manchester United next season. Obviously, we've got other goalkeepers as well. We've got Sergio Romero. He's our second choice goalkeeper. He tends to play like in the cup games. I think Sergio Romero has got a contract with the club until 2021. Romero's not reliable enough yet to become our number one goalkeeper. You've obviously got Lee Grant as well. He's another keeper we've got. He's seldom played since he came in. He came in the summer of 2018 under Mourinho. I think he's got an injury, so Lee Grant is a long-term absence. So yeah. So who should be number one? Should De Gea remain number one next season, or should Dean Henderson become our number one? So that is a debate. So let's just now delve into a bit more topics on this video. I'm just going to be talking with you now a bit more about Jack Grealish. I have been keeping you up to date of what's been going on with Jack Grealish on a regular basis. Now, Jack Grealish is obviously a player on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously, it confirmed the other week. This is what it said the other week, that Ed Woodward's preference is to get a holding midfielder in rather than getting Jack Grealish in. Now, we do know how much Jack Grealish will cost us. He will cost us at least probably £70 million. Maybe he could cost us £80 million. There again, it depends, whether Aston Villa, get relegated, or whether Aston Villa stay up. Because if Villa were to get relegated, then maybe, Grealish could go a bit cheaper. Now, you've had Graham Souness, that's come out and, give his verdict on Grealish. And he's got actually, an element of concern about Grealish. he believes, you know, he will go down the road like Jack Grealish. You know, this is what Graham Souness has come out and said. You know, Darren Bent in recent weeks has given his verdict on it. You know, he believes, Darren Bent, that he'll leave Villa and he'll go to Man United, Tottenham or Manchester City. And I do like Jack Grealish a lot, you know, well proven in the Premier League. He's remained loyal to Aston Villa for several years. He's actually spent the entirety of his career with Aston Villa, you know, like I mentioned before. He's still got a contract with Aston Villa until 2023 as Jack Grealish. Can play as an attacking mid, occasionally can play as a winner, but I think he's predominantly an attacking mid. Obviously, last month he had that incident with his Range Rover, didn't he? His £8,000 Range Rover. He was breaking lockdown rules because he actually, you know, attended a party, I think, at 4 a.m. Because Jack Grealish then advised people to stay at home due to this coronavirus crisis. But this is what he said. You know, Jack Grealish told people to stay at home. But obviously, reflects on the incident with his Range Rover. He felt embarrassed. He got fined around £150,000. And he said, reflects on the incident, his move to Manchester United was in doubt. So there's still a possibility, chance, you know, that Jack Grealish could come into the football club. There's obviously, you know, been a catalogue of midfielders on our agenda. You know, last week, you know, there was reports coming out about Donny van der Beek from Ajax. Sol Niguez, he's been on our agenda, but I'm very sceptical we're going to get him because we're not willing to meet, you know, Sol Niguez's substantial release clause. Atletico Madrid are only willing to sell him if we're willing to pay his 130 odd million release clause. You know, Maddison, we've been in for him, but I think he's now out of the equation, you know, because Maddison has confirmed that he's very, very happy with Leicester. So, yeah, so many players on our agenda. You know, we've been in for quite a few centre-halves as well, don't forget. Me, personally speaking, like I've said before, I don't think we're going to sign a centre-half when the transfer window reopens. I don't think we're going to sign a centre-half. It'd be nice to get a centre-half in, but, you know, we have got a lot of centre-halves in the team. You know, we've got Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof that are our first-choice centre-halves. You've got Eric Bailly and Tuan Zebe that are our backup centre-halves. You've obviously, you know, got Fosu Mensah that can play as a centre-half. You've got Jones, you know, he's like our fifth-choice centre-half. You know, you've obviously, you know, got Rojo, he's like our sixth-choice centre-half. Obviously, he's out on loan at Estudiantes. And you've got Smalling, he's out on loan with Roma. So, I just can't see Manchester United getting a centre-half in. But there's still reports emerging out saying that we're interested in getting one in. Obviously, you know, I give you the news on Diet Upamecano today as well. Because, you know, it says we're probably now in front of Arsenal to get Diet Upamecano. He's available for around 35 million. We've obviously, you know, been in for Kalidou Koulibaly. So, what players should Manchester United sign when the transfer market does reopen? Now, it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has revealed his plans for when the transfer market does reopen and that. Obviously, you know, Solskjaer's got the backing of Ed Woodward and he's also got the backing of the Glazers. And he's identified the areas where he does want to strengthen up. Of course, he wants to recommend a centre-forward in. He wants to recommend a right winger in. And he also wants to recommend a central midfielder in. So he's identified the areas where he does want to strengthen up. And he wants Manchester United to make around 4 signings when the transfer market does reopen. Because he believes we need around 4 signings to become title contenders. This is, you know, what Solskjaer does believe. If he can make 4 signings in the summer, you know, that would be a total of 9 players he has recruited in. Because so far in 3 transfer windows, Solskjaer has recruited 5 players in and spent around £220 million. But I've got to credit him, you know, for the players that he has recommended in so far. Don't forget, you know, Solskjaer says we will exploit the transfer market when it does reopen, so he believes we can get the right calibre players in. He still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young British talent, you know, to the football club, and I think a lot of people are satisfied, you know, with his transfer strategy. But, you know, there's lots to sort out when the transfer market does reopen. You know, we've obviously, you know, got to get the right players in. You know, we don't only expect to see more incomings. You know, we also expect to see more outgoings. You know, Solskjaer's planning on getting rid of around 5 or 6 players when the transfer market does reopen. I've already gone through with you, you know, the players that I think are leaving Man United. I think definitely, you know, Phil Jones is leaving the football club. He's been here since the Ferguson era. I think we'll negotiate on getting rid of Smalling on a permanent transfer. We'll also get rid of Rojo on a permanent transfer. I think we'll definitely get rid of Jesse Lingard and Andres Pereira because they're also 2 liabilities. I think we need to try and get rid of Alexis Sanchez on a permanent transfer, but I think we're going to find that extremely difficult because Sanchez recently has refused to take a pay cut. And, like I said, Sanchez, was on like £500,000 a week at Man United, and his wages were having a really, really bad effect on the football club. And he's on loan at Inter Milan, but despite that, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. And his international manager said, that Sanchez has endured a traumatic, torturous year. He's endured a difficult time at Inter Milan. He also endured a difficult time at Man United, but I think Sanchez is coming back to see out the remainder of his contract with the club, because he's under contract with us until 2022, is Sanchez, But we need to try and get rid of him on a permanent transfer, So yeah, we'll get rid of a good 5 or 6 players when the transfer market does reopen, definitely. But Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in, to be fair. We have seen a total of like 9 players leave, since he got recommended into the football club. A lot of players have left, since he got recommended in, so that is a positive. And and Solskjaer, has been at Manchester United now for around 16 months. He has been here over the year. But I'll reiterate what I've mentioned on my videos. I think Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at the club, and he deserves at least a couple of more transfer windows. He needs time, to build the next great Manchester United team. I'm still very sceptical that Solskjaer's a long-term solution for the club and that. I think he's got 2 years remaining now on his current contract at Manchester United. I'm still very sceptical that he'll see out the remainder of his contract, and when, the football season does eventually resume, he will be under pressure, to keep this good run of form up, because, obviously before the football season that got suspended, we was in a good run of form because we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions and stuff like that. But I would give him more time. I know I've been very, very critical of him this season. A lot of Manchester United fans have been very, very critical of him because we have enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. And, so yeah, I have been critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And obviously, since he got the job permanently, his record and that has been disastrous. But he is inexperienced as a manager, Solskjaer. But he's inexperienced, but the longer he remains in the Man United job, he's going to be gaining more managerial experience. Can't take that away from him. He was a very, very good player for the football club. Enjoyed 11 years as a player for Manchester United. And we know we've been playing catch-up for the last 6 or 7 years, obviously. Since Ferguson left, we have been playing catch-up and that. We've had different managers with different philosophies, and a hell of a lot of money's been invested into the club. But, we just got to bide this time with Solskjaer and that. The good news is that Ed Woodward's no longer involved in our recruitment process. That's some good news. And, yeah. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments and likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.